Clay Dempsey had lived quietly on his East Texas ranch for 7 years, 60 acres of open pasture, hardwood trees, and an aging red barn. No neighbors close, just wind, horses, and the kind of silence that heals a worn out soul. But peace doesn't last when ambition creeps in. One morning, Clay found a letter in his mailbox. It was typed, formal, and labeled Notice of Violation. The letter claimed his barbed wire fencing violated community standards and a $150 fine was due. Clay squinted at the return address, Maple Ridge Lakeside HOA. Maple Ridge, that was the fancy subdivision south of him, gated homes, asphalt driveways, nothing to do with his property. He tossed the letter. 2 weeks later came another envelope accusing him of unauthorized livestock activity, this time with grainy photos of his cattle. Clay didn't ignore this one. He drove to the HOA office, polished building with fake plants and polished floors. I'm Clay Dempsey, he told the receptionist. Someone here thinks I'm part of your HOA. A woman stepped forward with a tight smile and a clipboard. Bethany Drake, oh, President, you are part of Maple Ridge now. Phase 4 includes your parcel. We filed the boundary expansion with the county last year. Clay narrowed his eyes. I never agreed to join anything. That doesn't matter, she said coolly. All Phase 4 properties fall under our covenant. I don't recognize your claim, Clay said, and I won't follow rules I never consented to. Noncompliance leads to penalties. Quickly, she replied. Clay didn't argue. He left. That night, under the dim light of his kitchen, he pulled out the original deed to his land. He traced every survey line. No HOA. No legal filings. They were bluffing and hoping he'd fold. But Clay Dempsey didn't fold. He got ready to fight. Clay didn't sleep much that night. He kept replaying Bethany Drake's smug smile, the way she spoke like she owned everything she saw. By morning, he had a plan. He drove to the county clerk's office with a folder full of deeds and maps. The clerk, an older man named Willis, leaned back in his chair as Clay laid the documents out. They're claiming my ranch is part of Phase 4 of Maple Ridge. Can you check their filings? Willis typed slowly, squinting at his monitor. There is a Phase 4 filing here, but your parcel number isn't included. Look here. He swiveled the screen toward Clay. They submitted the map, but the boundaries stop half a mile short of your property line. You're not in their HOA. Clay nodded. Appreciate it. He made copies of everything. As he left, Willis added, "You're not the first one they've tried this on." Clay's jaw tightened. This wasn't a mistake, it was a pattern. That afternoon, he set up trail cameras on the edges of his property, just in case something told him this wasn't over. 2 days later, a white SUV with HOA markings pulled up along his southern fence. A man and a woman stepped out and started snapping photos, pointing at the cattle again. Clay stayed inside, watching from his porch. The cameras would catch everything. That evening, he reviewed the footage. The HOA reps had trespassed, crossed the fence, walked a good 10 yards onto his land, and took pictures. That gave him what he needed. The next morning, he returned to the county office and filed a trespassing complaint. He included the photos and video. Then he mailed a certified letter to Bethany Drake enclosing the footage, copies of the deed, and a formal cease and desist. No more fines, no more lies. That should have been the end of it. But with people like Bethany Drake, losing gracefully wasn't an option. A week passed. No letters, no fines, just silence. Clay figured they'd backed off until a deputy knocked on his door. "Mr. Dempsey?" the young officer asked. "We received a call about aggressive livestock near the Maple Ridge trail access." Clay raised an eyebrow. "Trail access? That's 2 pastures over." "Still, we've got to file a report." Clay led him to the fence line. My cattle haven't crossed this in years, and those trails, not even on my land. The deputy scratched his head. You'd be surprised how often I get called out here. Clay knew exactly why. That night, he checked his trail cams again. A new clip showed a man in slacks and loafers, definitely not a rancher, tossing garbage onto Clay's property, then photographing it from behind the fence. They were staging violations. Clay uploaded the footage to a private drive and labeled it OA setup evidence. He backed it up twice. The next day, he went to visit his friend Russ Jenkins, a retired surveyor. You got any drone gear still lying around? Clay asked. Russ chuckled. You planning a wedding shoot or a war? Little of both, Clay muttered. With Russ's help, Clay flew the drone over his southern boundary. The HOA had installed new signage just inside his fence signs that read Maple Ridge Nature Preserve. Clay stared at the footage. They were trying to claim his land again and rebrand it as part of their development. These signs weren't here last month, Clay said. Russ zoomed in. Those stakes are on your side of the fence. Clay felt the burn rise in his chest. That evening, he drafted a full report with drone photos, video clips, and county documents. He titled it Unauthorized HOA Expansion, Evidence for Legal Action. He emailed it to 3 lawyers, his local news station, and the county commissioner. He didn't wait for a reply. He already knew what came next. The gloves were off. The following week, Clay installed new signs of his own. Private property trespassers will be prosecuted. He posted them every 30 feet along the southern fence, then he added motion-triggered spotlights and solar-powered sirens. He wasn't playing games anymore. Still, the harassment didn't stop. Someone filed a noise complaint against Clay's tractor. Another report accused him of polluting the creek. Code enforcement came out twice both times, finding nothing. But every visit wasted Clay's time and chipped away at his peace. Then one morning, Clay walked out to feed the horses and stopped dead. His barn door was wide open. Inside, feed sacks were slashed, tools scattered. A trail of muddy footprints led back toward the fence line. Clay's stomach turned. He checked the cameras. The footage was grainy, but clear enough. 2 figures in hoodies slipping through the fence just before 4 a.m. One carried what looked like bolt cutters. Clay handed the footage over to the sheriff. He didn't expect much. So he took matters into his own hands. With Russ's help, he installed new infrared cameras disguised in birdhouses and fence posts. He set up an alert system that pinged his phone anytime motion was detected at night. Then he called a property attorney named Carla Ruiz. She'd handled land disputes for decades and didn't flinch when Clay showed her the files. Looks like you've got enough here to file an injunction, she said. Let's do it. Carla nodded. You'll also want a formal survey. Their boundary claim is flimsy, but we're going to make it bulletproof. Within a week, a licensed survey team marked every corner of Clay's land in bright orange stakes. Clay stood by the final marker as the sun set, arms folded, boots planted. They're done sneaking in, he muttered. But Bethany Drake wasn't done yet.